The observation deck of the Zenith Accord hummed with the low thrum of quantum engines as Burak stared out at the swirling nebula beyond. 3 years ago, he'd been a construction engineer in Istanbul. Now he was humanity's unlikely ambassador to the Valerian Empire, a civilization that had mastered faster-than-light travel before humans had invented the wheel. "You're brooding again." Burak turned to find Princess Melissa standing in the doorway, her silver skin shimmering under the ship's bioluminescent lighting. She was beautiful in a way that transcended species, graceful, with eyes like liquid mercury that seemed to hold entire galaxies. "Just thinking," he replied in Valerian, a language he'd somehow mastered in 18 months. Humans, it turned out, had a gift for adaptation that astounded the galaxy. Melissa glided across the deck, her ceremonial robes flowing like water. "The council meeting didn't go well. They want to reject Earth's application for technology sharing. Again." Burak's jaw tightened. "They say we're too primitive, too violent, too human." The princess looked away, guilt flickering across her features. As the emperor's daughter, she sat on that very council. "My father believes that we'll destroy ourselves with antimatter reactors, that we're not ready?" Burak's voice carried no anger, only exhaustion. "We've heard it all before, Melissa." "He's afraid," she whispered, "not of what you might do to yourselves, but what you might become." That caught his attention. "What do you mean?" Melissa moved to the viewport, standing close enough that he could smell the strange, pleasant fragrance that all Valerians carried, like ozone and jasmine. "Do you know why I volunteered to be your liaison, Burak? Why I spent these 3 years studying your kind?" He'd wondered, actually. A princess serving as a glorified tour guide seemed beneath her station. "At first, I thought humans were fascinating the way a child finds insects fascinating. Curious little creatures with such short lives." Her mercury eyes met his. "But then, I watched you solve problems that stumped our greatest minds. I saw you create art that made our composers weep. I witnessed your capacity for both cruelty and compassion in measures we can't fathom." "Melissa." "Human, I want you to understand something." Her voice trembled. "My people have been spacefaring for 50,000 years. We've achieved immortality, perfected our genetics, eliminated disease and want. We are, by every measure, superior to you." Burak said nothing. He'd heard variations of this speech from a dozen alien species. "And yet," Melissa continued, "in 3 years, you've mastered technologies that took us centuries to develop. Your music has become the most popular in 6-star systems. Your literature is studied in academies across the Orion Arm. And your philosophy, your stubborn, defiant insistence on hope despite overwhelming odds, has sparked revolutions on worlds that haven't changed in millennia." She turned to face him fully, and he was startled to see what looked like tears in those alien eyes. "I can't take it anymore, Burak. I can't keep pretending that humanity is beneath us when every day you prove that you're becoming something we never could be. You're alive in a way we've forgotten how to be." The observation deck fell silent except for the quantum engine's endless song. "The council fears you," Melissa said softly, "because in another century, maybe less, humanity will surpass us. And when they do, they'll inherit a galaxy that we've merely been caretaking." Burak processed this, his engineer's mind working through the implications. "So what happens now? They keep denying us until we figure it out ourselves?" "No." Melissa straightened, royal authority returning to her bearing. "I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to defy my father's counsel." She pulled a data crystal from her robes, its surface pulsing with encoded information. "This contains everything: antimatter containment, quantum communication, genetic reconstruction, the works. Enough to accelerate your civilization by 500 years. Burak's eyes widened. "Melissa, that's treason! They'll execute me? Exile me?" She laughed, a sound like wind chimes. "Let them try. I've spent 3 years with humans, Burak. I've learned that some things are worth fighting for, even when the odds are impossible." She pressed the crystal into his palm. Her silver hand lingered on his darker skin, and for a moment, the gulf between their species seemed insignificant. "Why?" he asked simply. Melissa smiled, sad and beautiful. "Because you asked why, instead of just taking it. That's the difference between us, Burak. Humans question everything, including their own worthiness. We stopped asking questions 10,000 years ago." Alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. The Council had discovered her betrayal faster than expected. "Go," Melissa urged, pushing him toward the escape pods. "Take that back to Earth. Build wonders. Make mistakes. Prove that the galaxy made the right choice when it allowed your species to survive." "Come with me," Burak said, surprising himself. "You said humans never give up hope. Let me show you what that means." For 3 heartbeats, Melissa hesitated. Then she took his hand. "I've always wanted to see Earth," she admitted. As they ran toward the escape pods, security forces closing in behind them, Burak couldn't help but grin. Humanity was about to change forever, not through conquest or submission, but because one alien princess had dared to believe that the scrappy upstarts from Sol the Thrur deserved their chance among the stars. And wasn't that the most human thing imaginable? Making allies, inspiring others, and dragging the whole damn galaxy forward whether it wanted to come or not. The escape pod launched into the nebula's kaleidoscope of colors, carrying 2 unlikely rebels and the future of 2 civilizations. The end